Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. OhSheReads here, and in today's video I'm going to be giving you all a much awaited and much needed writing update. Now the last writing update I did, I believe, was the summer of 2015 or 2014. I'm not quite sure, I can't remember, it was a really long time ago, but in that writing update, it was the summer of 2015, I remember now, because I'm gonna go ahead and link the video right now. If you haven't seen it, you can go ahead and check it out. But in that writing update, I did inform you guys of my writing plans for 2016. Well, it is now 2017, so as you can see, I definitely need to catch you guys up on what I've been up to. And yeah, if you wanna listen and hear all about my update on writing, you can definitely continue watching. So for those of you who have been subscribed to me since my NaNoWriMo days, you may be aware that my writing plans for 2016 were to query and try to basically get published my novel that I wrote for NaNoWriMo in 2014. 2014? Yes, 2014. And that novel was one that I really loved. I vlogged the entire NaNoWriMo journey for that particular novel. That was my first year doing Nano, and I was super excited, and it's actually what started me out here on YouTube. So definitely check out that series. It's really good. It has a lot of great insights about my writing journey with that particular novel and just writing in general. But that novel is one that I planned to query and submit to agents in 2016 in hopes of getting it published. Now, it's currently 2017, and as you can probably tell, things did not go according to plan. Basically, I'm now in the third revision of that particular novel. I have edited it twice, and I'm in the middle of a third edit, and I just grew really frustrated with that manuscript. Every time I read through it, it just seemed like something was missing, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it, and it was really hurtful because I loved that story so much, and I was so passionate about that project, and I still am, and I still want to work on it. I still want to definitely pursue publication with it, but I just needed to take a break from it because the frustration was getting to me, and I wasn't able to work my way through it successfully in terms of figuring out what is missing from it. And then in terms of what is missing, I don't know if that is my perception or if that is something that truly is missing from the novel itself. I don't know if that makes any sense. But I haven't had anyone else read the manuscript, so that's something that I'm working up to. I feel that if I maybe have some beta readers read the manuscript and give me feedback, that would definitely help to clarify exactly what I'm trying to figure out with that particular manuscript. Now, every writer is different, but for me particularly as a writer, it's very, very difficult to hand my manuscripts over to someone else and to get their critique or their opinion on it. I don't know what it is, but it just fills me with a lot of anxiety, and it's something that I've always struggled with my whole life. Ever since I started writing, I have a lot of trouble with having other people read my work. I just feel very protective of what I write, and I almost feel like constructive criticism is something that is negative for me because I don't take it constructively. It actually harms me, and then it basically causes crippling self-doubt, and then I just completely stop altogether. And I experienced that for the first time when I was in college. I remember my freshman year of college, I wrote my first completed novel. Like I said, I've been writing my entire life, but I could never quite stick to a story idea long enough to complete it all the way through. If I look through my journals from childhood, I have so many manuscripts that are unfinished. You know, I wrote the first 3 chapters here, 4 chapters here, and I didn't have the attention span or the passion for any one particular story to stick with it all the way through from beginning to end. So my freshman year of college was the first year that I finally had enough excitement and passion and focus for a particular storyline and story idea to stick with it from beginning to end. And I remember that I submitted it to a mentor of mine who is in the publishing industry, and I just wanted him to look over it and give him my feedback. And it took him about a couple months to read it. I will never forget this. And he sent it back to me with so many notes, so many revisions. You know, he was kind of like, and remember, this was before the new adult genre. I was writing new adult before there was a genre, you guys. My work didn't have a place. It was like not young adult, not adult. It was in that weird gray area. And he kind of gave it back to me and he said, what is this? Like, what shelf would it be at in the bookstore? What section would it be in? You know, you need to figure it out. You need to figure out what genre you're writing. You know, he was just like, this kind of story is not going to sell. So he was coming from a purely commercial standpoint. He was coming from a standpoint of profit and what would be sold and what would be able to be consumed by readers. And his consensus was, you have some great ideas here and this is a solid story, but unfortunately this type of story is not popular right now, it's not selling right now, and it was too much of a gray area and it didn't belong in any one section per se in a bookstore. So once I received that critique, constructive though it was, I remember I completely stopped writing for over a year. It just shut me down, and the only writing I did was essays for school, and I also wrote, I was in a playwriting class actually at the time, so I was writing plays, and that's when I started getting into writing plays and screenplays and things like that, and of course, like I said already, essays for school. And that's actually when I got into nonfiction writing, because I was also in an autobiographical course where we had to write pieces, autobiographical pieces, and then perform them. So that's when I got into writing nonfiction and journaling and blogging and all that. But that critique on my very first completed novel just, oh my goodness, it messed with me completely, and it just shut me down. And like I said, I didn't write anything else for over a year. And I found myself returning to old patterns from my childhood where I would get a story idea and I would start it, but I could never stick with it until completion. So because of that experience, I'm very hesitant to give other people my work to read, and to this day I haven't given anyone else anything. I think I sent my mom like a chapter or two back in 2012, and that was the last time I've ever had anyone read anything I've written. So that's definitely something I want to work on, that I'm gonna have to break through, because I have some exciting news for you guys. But I will get to the news in just a second. I want to complete, this update, and then I will tell you my news. So I feel like I went off on a long tangent, but I say all of that to say that my plans for querying that particular novel did not go, according to plan, basically, for 2016. And I have now put that novel on the back burner, and I put it to the side, and I will revisit it. I don't know when, to be honest with you. I will revisit it at some point. Now, moving forward, I did Camp NaNoWriMo in the summer of 2014, I think. Honestly, I don't recall, but once again, I did vlog that entire writing journey, and you can find it on my channel if you're interested. But I did Camp NaNoWriMo that summer, I think it was 2014, and that produced a manuscript as well, and that was my first time writing a romantic comedy, and it was inspired by a workplace romance, because I had a little crush on this guy that I was working with at the time, and it wasn't anything serious, but it inspired that storyline. And I remember that story was so easy to write. It's somewhere between a short story and a full-length novel. It was so easy to write, it flowed so well, and it was a great writing and learning experience, because it taught me that I can write comedy, romantic comedy basically, and that I do have a knack for that, and I do have an interest in writing that. So that was really good. And I completely finished that manuscript. I didn't have any plans for it. I didn't plan to really polish it up or anything. It was kind of for fun. So I have that on my back burner. Then the next thing I wrote was actually a short story, and it was a fairy tale, and it's probably falls more in line with the middle grade book. I'm not 100% sure, because there are some dark themes, but the characters are the ages of, middle schoolers, but the things that they go through and things they experience are very dark. So it's a very dark fairy tale, which I guess is true to form, because most fairy tales are very disturbing. And I wrote that in 2016 at some point. I started plotting it in 2015, and I finished writing it in 2016 in January, February, March. So I had a lot of fun with that. Like I said, I'm not quite sure where it would fall into. Just know it's a dark fairy tale that has preteens in it, and I had a lot of fun with it. I wrote it on a whim, complete whim. Once again, that's another manuscript that I have no particular plans for. I just did it for fun, because that's what I do. And all the while I was doing that, I was still being haunted by my original NaNoWriMo story that I had told all of you guys that I was going to be querying, and submitting to agents and trying to get published. It was still in the back of my head, haunting me, causing a lot of frustration, causing a lot of doubt, causing a lot of guilt in a way, and making me feel like a failure in a way because I couldn't figure it out and I didn't know why. And I did actually end up obtaining an agent at one point, and I'm no longer with that agent. It's a long story, and if you guys want me to make a video on that, I definitely will. But it was just not a good fit, and we both had different ideas on the type of writing I want to do and who I am as a writer, so it wasn't gonna work. But that was very frustrating, and that was another thing that made me feel like a failure. And I'm so determined, or I was so determined at that time to pursue traditional publishing, that I just felt like I was in a rut and I didn't really know which way to go. You know, I felt stuck. And so where am I now? So we're in 2016. I just wrote the fairy tale. So that's 3 manuscripts. I have the original manuscript from NaNoWriMo the first time around. Then I have the romantic comedy from Camp NaNoWriMo. Now I have this fairy tale that I wrote on a whim. And I guess I just wanted to give you guys some background. So basically, you know, I have 3 manuscripts now. And then of course you guys know that the rest of 2016 was kind of a dark period for me. And, you know, I'm not really a person that's easily depressed. My entire life, I've always been a very joyful, optimistic, happy person. So, you know, there have been a lot of discussions here on BookTube about mental health and about depression and extreme sadness. And I definitely want to make a video about that soon. So if you guys are at all interested on my thoughts on that, then let me know. But I probably will still make a video about it anyway, because I definitely have some things that I would like to share with you all on that. But I wouldn't say I was in a depression. I think that word is a very misused word, you know? I think we use it for moments of just real life. You know, life is hard, and sometimes they're really, really dark, hard times. And then there's actual depression, where there's a chemical imbalance in your brain and there's a mental illness and you need help and you need therapy and medication and all that. So I don't want to use that word, but I guess I would just say a sad time, a down time. And, you know, I'm not one that does well in down times because, like I said, I'm naturally very happy, joyful, optimistic type of person. So when I go through those type of things, it's very hard for me to climb out of it. And I think that a lot of you can relate to that, whether you are naturally optimistic and joyful or not. You know, when you get into a downtime in life, it can feel as if the walls are closing in on you and there's no light at the end of the tunnel. It can feel as if, you know, you're in a rut and you don't know how you're gonna get out. But I say all of that to say that those times pass, you know, and especially for us as creators, I feel like we live so much in our heads that it can kind of trip you up. Because when you live so much in your imagination and you're so creative and you're so passionate about creating and putting things out into the world, when you feel as if you're not living up to your purpose, up to your potential, it can really put you in a funk and it can make you feel like a failure. And we live in a world where a perception of success is not necessarily what success should be. You know, we live in a very results-oriented world. Like, okay, so you're a writer, you know, what have you produced? What have you done? You know, and the journey is not appreciated as much as the destination. And as someone who's written my entire life, you know, when I was 5 years old writing my first story, I wasn't thinking, you know, oh, I need to make this, you know, good because other people are going to read it and people are going to buy it and consume it and, you know, bestseller lists. You know, no 5-year-old is thinking that. You just found something that you love and that you're passionate about and you're excited and you want to pursue it. And I feel that that is true for any artistic, creative endeavor, any passion really in life. And so what this past year has taught me with the whole failing to query that particular novel and, you know, not having an agent anymore and all the things that I went through, it's taught me the reason that I started writing in the first place. And it wasn't to be super huge or successful, although, you know, that's every writer's dream, but that shouldn't be your motivation to write. That shouldn't be your focus. You should write out of the joy of it, out of the pure love and out of the need to put stories out into the world. You have a story to tell and you have a message that you want to give to people. And, you know, everyone has their own specific reason for writing stories. But for me, it's always been about putting something positive out into the world and spreading a message that is going to help people. It's going to help people feel seen and help people feel acknowledged and not alone. That's always been why I write, why I do anything creatively. So this past year, 2016, and then now we're halfway through 2017, I feel finally grounded. I feel finally at home in my mind and in my emotional state. So now writing for me is purely going to be about the artistic expression of it again, the joy again, getting back into the message of wanting to touch people and spread joy and love and, you know, spread a message that people can resonate with and that can truly perhaps change someone's life. And that's always been what writing has been for me, and I feel finally like I'm back in that headspace. And so I'm really excited to get back into the writing game. And I actually have a story idea that I have been working on. I've slowly been plotting it out, and I'm really excited to get back into the writing. And oh yes, I remember now. I've been plotting this story idea that I'm super excited about. Oh my goodness. You know when you have a story idea that just completely takes up, oh little Teddy. Oh little Teddy. Say hi to the people, Teddy. Say hi to the people. Yes, he's groomed now. Doesn't he look like a completely different dog, you guys? Okay, I digress. But you know when you have a story idea that completely just takes over your thoughts? You think about it every single day, get more and more details, the characters become more clear, more real, more fleshed out. And so for the past 2 months, I've been plotting out this new story. And it's perfect timing because the July session of Camp NaNoWriMo is coming up, and I am so there, you guys. So that's part one of my announcement. I will be doing Camp NaNoWriMo in July, and I'm super excited about it. So if any of you guys will be doing that as well, definitely let me know in the comments so we can support each other. Go find me on the NaNoWriMo site and friend me. I will be more than happy to accept your friend request, and we can support each other through this summer session. But anyways, I will be working on my new story idea during the July session of Camp NaNoWriMo. And also, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I just have this joy again that I didn't used to have when it came to my writing, because I had made my writing a product and I had commercialized it in my own thoughts, and I'd put a price on it, which is so wrong in so many different ways. And I'm finally just getting back to the art of it and the joy of it. And I'm super excited to be in that place mentally once again. Now, are you ready for my big announcement? I'm so excited. Okay, I'm gonna put Teddy down. All right, so my big announcement is, I feel like I need a drum roll. Hold on, you guys. I'm gonna fake a drum roll. My big announcement is I have decided to pursue self-publishing. Yay! Woo! I honestly feel as if I am the perfect type of writer and candidate for self-publishing. The truth is that I sort of felt that self-publishing was a cop-out. Like it was kind of giving up, like, oh, I can't get traditionally published, so I'm just gonna self-publish, you know? And I used to view it as this negative thing, and this thing as if it just wasn't as good as traditional publishing. It wasn't as prestigious and important enough as traditional publishing. And it was kind of like, you know, when you're a little kid and everyone gets a trophy, kind of like that, you know? And I've recently realized that I was thinking about it completely in the wrong way, and it's actually perfect for me because I am so particular about the stories I want to put out there, you guys. And even though things are getting better, and you know, I primarily write new adult and young adult novels, and things are getting better, and by that I mean in terms of diversity, okay? Let's just be real. You know, I want to say like 97%, I'm pulling that statistic completely out of the air, of the protagonists in traditionally published young adult and new adult novels are Caucasian, you know, white people. It's all white people everywhere you look, and it can be very encouraging to an author of color, whether you're Black, Indian, Asian, you know, not white. It can be very discouraging because you of course want to put your identity out into the world in your writing, and you want people who look like you to read your books and see themselves, because they don't see themselves anywhere else. They barely see themselves in the media. And you know, things are slowly getting better. I absolutely acknowledge that. But at the same time, you know, when it comes to traditional publishing, it's very, very, very hard. I'm not going to lie. I have friends in publishing and it's not easy. It's not easy. And so that's part of the reason I've decided to go with self-publishing, but also, you know, there are a lot of perks to self-publishing. I'm not going to go into it too deeply into this video because it's just going to make it longer. But if you guys want me to make a video on self-publishing versus traditional publishing, be more than happy to. There are also some other videos out on BookTube and YouTube, and you can search. And you know, if you're also in a similar place that I was about a year and a half ago, where you just kept going back and forth in your mind, the pros and the cons, and you couldn't figure it out, then like I said, I'll be more than happy to make a video, or you can just search a video here on YouTube and see what you can find. But if you want to know my particular thoughts and opinions on it, let me know. So I finally come to a place where I'm excited to self-publish, and I'm excited for the journey ahead. I'm excited for all the little things, from finding an editor to finding, you know, a graphic designer to make my cover art, to formatting the book, to just every little thing, even the marketing, which was the thing that used to scare me off the most. But I've worked in sales for the past 5 years, and I finally just had to give myself props and admit to myself, I can do some marketing. Like, I've got some great ideas. I'll be okay, you know? So it's just taking that leap of faith, something I prayed about and really just meditated on, and it just finally came to me, and I feel like this is what God wants me to do. And so that, you know, God putting his stamp of approval on it has made it a lot easier for me to finally just accept that this is the path. This is the path for me. And you know, self-publishing has completely exploded in the past 5 years, and you can 100% make a solid living as a self-published author as long as you have the audience, and you're gonna have the audience if you produce the quality work, right? So, whew, I feel like I've just been rambling in this video. I really hope this all makes sense. But you know, I'm gonna be self-publishing, and right now it's tentative, but I'm thinking May of 2018. Okay, so just watch this space, because I will definitely make a formal announcement, a formal video. I will let you guys know when my book is coming out and when you can purchase it and where you can purchase it. And yeah, I will definitely make more videos as I continue this journey, because you know, I'm gonna be learning, and I want to share that with you guys. For anyone else who's interested, any other writers out there who are conflicted about traditional versus self, you can watch my journey and see how I go through things, and maybe that will help you. So I'm putting it out into the universe. I'm self-publishing. Ah! Yeah, so that's it. Wow. Yeah, that's it for this video. If you guys have any questions about my writing, anything writing related, I'm gonna I can't talk. When it gets to this point in the video, I can't talk anymore. I'm going to be making more writing related videos this year. Last 6 months of this year. It's already June. So if you have any specific questions about writing, let me know. And I know a lot of you writers out there are in the same boat as me, where you have no formal training. I didn't go to school for writing. I went to school for acting. And I also studied African studies, but you know, I didn't go to school for writing. I'm completely 100% self-taught. I haven't really done any workshops or anything like that. So if you guys have any questions, then I will be more than happy to give you my spin on things. But yeah, that's it for this video. I hope it's not too long. If you've watched the whole video, kudos to you. Please give me a thumbs up. That really does help if you like this video. Subscribe if you like content like this, and if you subscribe, you won't miss any more of my videos. I always feel kind of weird telling people to subscribe, but please subscribe. Okay, that's it. All right, I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye. Mom, why are you staring at me?
You waking up? Yeah. Dozing up or waking up? Okay.
Oh. All right, guys, I will catch you in my next video. Bye.
Where am I emotionally today? I would say that I am in a very emotionally good place. I'm happy, and this time around, I moved back in with my parents, by the way. It's temporary, but this time around living with my family, I feel so different than what it was last time. Last time, I almost felt like I was a burden on them, like I was a prisoner of my own making. I felt like it was a wrong choice moving in with them, and I was just going through a lot at that point in my life. I lived with them for 2 years, and I can honestly say they were 2 of the hardest years of my entire life. And ironically, that's when I started